and then we can just show me what your issue is, or you're recording it. Okay, so you show me the show me the issues that you've got an issue with, and then I can send this to Phil. I'm talking to Phil this afternoon because we've got the RDB conversation today, the handover.
Okay. Yep.
I'm just waiting on the RDB AWX UAT testing environment, so we can plug rates into it. But it's basically ready to go. All right. So if you can record this, and then I can share it with Phil. He can watch it, and then we can, work out what we're going to do.
Okay, cool. Okay, so just before we get started on the main thing, one thing I do need to catch up with Phil about is I sent him through the list of all the WIC codes that for every state, and I know we have to put them in there multiple times because of that parent thing. We're putting them all under Queensland, we're putting them all under New South Wales, so that people can grab them from a parent level.
Yep.
Right, but I said to Phil, we need to actually remove the original WIC code, whatever was in there, because otherwise there's be double ups and everything. But when I go to tools and go to a WIC code,
yep.
They're just, some of them haven't got percentages when I pull them through to a quote. But if I pull up, say, under ACT, every WIC code should be there. If I pull up one for Queensland, so you see all these ones, Queensland, they all start with Queensland, that's our new codes, right?
Mm.
But then if I go Queensland as a state, which they should have the same codes because that's how we have to do it to get them under a parent. And I do the same typing, then they don't turn up. I get all these old codes got to do with thing. I just don't know what it's reading, because it's not reading, there's none of them are the same.
Okay.
And I know when I went into one for construction, I think it was.
Yep.
They had some.
So basically, this is what we're saying here is that the WIC library that has been uploaded is maybe the old WIC library. The new library hasn't been uploaded, and then obviously we've got
a combination of both. I think it's old and new, and it might not be under each state properly. I can't see it from here. I know what was on the spreadsheet, but
it may be a data table, or maybe a data table or a mapping thing. Anyway, okay, fair enough.
Because I know that I called up one when I was in a quote with Luke, and it came up with RWM and AWX Agri, so they were really old stuff. So I think even if he removed it all and threw it up again from that spreadsheet, at least that should be the clean one.
Yep. Okay.
And,
no problems.
Yeah.
No problems. We'll address that. Next.
Okay, so let's just go through one. This is what we went through with, what do you call it, Luke?
Yep.
Okay, so we're all good there. He actually really thought the program was doing really well, but he just come up stumps where we did as well. He reckons the guys wouldn't do it. So we just wanted to talk to you. So if I just pull up the building and construction one.
Yep.
So all good. Just going to go general. I'll just tick a few off.
Can you make your screen smaller?
Let me have a look. Is that better?
No.
Can you do it from your end?
I can't. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Leave it at that. That'll do. Okay. Yep. So you've got it. You haven't unselected all. You've got all of them ticked at this point. Yep. So you've done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just doing about 5 out of the whole.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Got one page, just doing 5.
Yep.
That's all good. And then I go submit. Right. Now this is our problem page. Right. I know that originally it was just the advanced configuration, and when we went through this with Phil originally, we were going to skip this page because
that's right.
Like we didn't get told at that stage that if you wanted to change a rate or put it in a multiplier, that would be done, and this one would be done because we could change the rate in the next screen. But when you change the rate in this screen, it repopulates all the different, like overtime based on that rate. If you do it in the next screen, it will only just change the base. It doesn't change the rest of them, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So in other words, so what you're saying is, for example, if the rate is $25 and you want to put the base rate, the normal time rate to $30, you want the overtime rate to go to $45 and $50. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because we worked that out ourselves. Because when we said, okay, well, what's the point of this screen? And it was, there was basically said there was nothing really we had to do in it. We could just do it all in the next screen. But when we were actually doing some testing, we realised if you did it in the next screen and changed the base rate, it just changes the base rate, which is fine because sometimes that's exactly what we want. But if you did it in this screen, it would repopulate and recalculate your overtime based on that. And sometimes, yeah, we need that too. So this screen, that's why we had to change our mind that this screen was important.
Yeah.
If that was the case.
Yeah.
So that's why we said, need this screen, obviously, because it's not going to recalculate. Also, this screen, when we went into do it in the next screen, if we wanted to delete items, it was a lot longer process to delete items after you've chosen all of them than it would be on this screen. So that's what we said, leave that back in, but we need this screen to be more user-friendly and drill it down a lot more so that the people that don't need to do, it's just, I think I'm faster at it than a new person would be. And, you know, when you're choosing a lot of levels, it was taking an hour. So we just got to try to work out a way to do it. So this screen that came up the other night that says save as pre-configured, probably that is just like, it makes it worse because people will pick that thinking they don't care. And then they'll have a world of work to do in the next screen. So, because they don't even know what they're pressing. But if I go to advanced configurations, what I said to Phil a couple of weeks back is at this point, I understand, because I said to him about 6 weeks ago, can we have that choice at this screen, not the next screen, of certified agreement or modern award? And I know I talked to you about that too, and you said it was for like one of those comparable quotes that you can flip between each other, which is all good. I do have a question about that because we were playing with that the other day. If you actually did a quote against the modern award, and I know you can go back to that edit screen and go chart certified agreement, and you can redo it. How do you? When you send it, what does the customer see? Do they see two separate quotes with one against the certified agreement and one against the modern award?
Shouldn't do. You've got a tick box to in the comparison, haven't you? And you tick the one that you want to send.
I don't know. We've never been shown that. I only worked it out that's how you actually do the comparative, that you flick it back to certified agreement and you can re-quote it. But I can't work out how it actually does a comparable thing for the client or whether it does two separate quotes. But that's what we can say.
No, it doesn't do two separate quotes. I mean, have you seen? You've seen it on screen though, right? In RatesCalc, so you've seen both the award and the certified agreement.
The quote itself.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how to get it there. We haven't gone through that, so how to get it there. All we knew that you choose modern award or certified agreement, you do your quote.
Yes.
And if I go to preview quote, it just turns up with the one. So I don't know where that was, because that's what we kept saying. Put this screen here.
That's right? Okay. We're recording it. See, I don't have Rates Mapper because Rates Mapper is basically your thing. It's no other client will ever use. Well, I can't imagine that you'll ever use Rates Mapper. So Rates Mapper, I've got switched off. Bill's got that switched off in the back end of Rates Calc, so I can't see it.
Yeah,
and I'm saying that on the basis that I can't check it now. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, well, that's why I know ours is more complex because of that alternate choice.
Yes.
Right, but typically, because not everybody is going to be doing comparable quotes, and probably be more of the lower percentage of it. That this because this screen here, people have to do a lot more work for the chance that some person like Cam might do 1 in a million comparable quotes. It just seems, even Luke said, like, the majority of people will be doing Modern Award certified agreement. Every now and then somebody might want to do a comparable, but because that choice isn't in this screen, it gives people a bit more work. So what I said to Phil the other week, here comes up, so this one's got, I don't know how many levels, 5 or 6 that I've picked, right? Going through each one twice, one for the Modern Award, one for certified agreement. It is, and you can just imagine, like even Luke said, the amount of errors people are going to do by not ticking something or ticking something wrong or something is really kind of up there. I did say to him too, he said, when they do come up, see, like level 26 is obviously the married level in the award. I know we talked about this like last July, August, when we had that management meeting. I think we brought it up, that label there needs to actually say certified agreement level, whatever this is. But you know, this one should actually say Modern Award book, and the other one should say certified agreement with the same level, because that's exactly what it is. If you get down to here and you don't even know what level you're at, because level 26 is just a background level. Does that make sense? Like, I wouldn't know that if that was level 1, level 2.
Okay. Yeah, I see your point.
That one there was
I mean, you're going to know that it's a certified agreement, but you don't know what level it is if you're doing multiple. levels.
If you've got here this one, right? And that doesn't mention, like, I only know that that's the Modern Award, and the bottom, the one underneath it is a certified agreement. But if you were just scrolling down and you got to it, you wouldn't really know which one you're at, because it's got the same pay codes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really just needs to identify it a little bit better. But I know that we had that, but I've been just waiting for them, thinking that was just in one of the updates in the last couple of months. But I thought I'd better check on it today because Luke picked it up as well, and I thought I was just waiting.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Anyway, we've got this recorded, so
okay. So that's just an identifier labeling glitch. But what I said to Phil a couple of weeks ago, when I was down in Sydney, that because when we were showing Expect to Start, they just got all confused and that. So I said it would be good if we had a choice here, right, like a drop down. Do you want like basically a filter, certified agreement, and then you can do like a bulk untick or one award bulk untick, you know, like so that you can just go, you don't have to scroll down every level if you've missed something, whatever, it's just bang off. So to me, I said to Phil, it's not, I know I'm not a totally technical person, but it's more filters and bulk select or bulk untick. The other thing was if we go certified agreement and Modern Award or comparable, which means you need the both, right? So that you do your bulk untick. The next thing would be, because all the levels have the same pay elements, might not be the same price, but the same pay elements. If the next section was, the next filter was list all the pay items and then go take off every public holiday of every level, rather than showing it all up, you'd actually just show the 10 pay items and you'd actually go, I don't need that one, don't need that one, and it would take it off every level. So what you've got left is what you want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And that would at least drill it down to the levels and the pay items that they really want to adjust or look at or review, whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
When I told Phil ages ago or discussing with you, or maybe Phil, I think it was, and that kind of said we need to, because these aren't really pay items anywhere, they're rules, right? Yeah. So we need to map them to ours. And I know when the development got done, it was in the next section to map those pay items so that the person could choose them. And when we were doing that for Spectre Stars, you've got to map every pay item, and then you have to do it for every level, which you're doing the same thing because every level had the same pay items and recall them something and name. I said if we've got two choices, can we do it here that I could map it once for every level? Like, so when you call up which pay items you actually want to have and map it, or do I actually
which is what we
pre-map it? Sorry?
That's what we were referring to in the email this morning, right?
Yeah. Or the only other thing, so that takes this issue right away of mapping and the time-consuming thing is, do I just grab the 122 awards, pay items like this and map them in the background? And actually, so they actually come up pre-populated with, if they pull this up, this is what it is in our life, you know what I mean? Because what I'm thinking of, see here, see this overtime Monday to Friday, first 2 hours, 35.37. Well, Saturday is the same figure, right? 35.37. In our quote, we're not going to quote it twice, and in our position template, we don't want it twice, because if I change the name of that to 1.5 or whatever it is in 1.5, I don't want it to come up twice just because it's twice in the rules. It needs to just, because in your normal position template, you might have 6 items, okay?
I understand what you're saying, but you know what we've had to do is when we've built the data mapping and the widgets pulling off the Fair Work guides, that's how we've pulled the data in to rates calc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally. I know. That's what I was thinking. If I map every award in the background so that if they pulled up building construction, it would come up with those.
So basically going to reduce the amount of pay elements.
Yeah.
So, for example, it would say, you know, overtime Monday to Friday, first 2 hours, comma, overtime Saturday before 12 noon, first 2 hours, comma, whatever it might be, which is relating back to the same dollar value. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I'd say out of all these pay items, are like rules, really, for the building and construction, that might only drill down to like 5 pay items in real life, because a lot of them are actually using the same pay item.
Same pay item,
and it's the same rate.
Yeah.
It's just that because the rule is in it. And look, I need the rule in that award rules, I really do, but I just don't need it in here, because then it will duplicate on a quote, duplicate in a position template, and it does make the quote really large when a lot of them condense. Yeah. So do you think
I would have to talk to Jackson about this, because Jackson built the bulk rate import, right? So, you know, this is a remapping of the widgets.
I like this for if I was doing my interpretation, these rules that actually then flow through to the award rules, right? Are great, so I can work out exactly how and then I set up the interpretation. But the client doesn't need all that; they just need that, because they get those rules anyway. As that bit at the bottom that says whatever I pull through as the award rule, it'll show on the quote.
Yeah.
So they get that kind of information, but they don't have to do, because if you did 10 levels, you're going to get like a 10-page quote.
Yeah.
Rather than just a once-off rule for across all levels.
So you're requesting, I mean, which makes sense. I'd need to talk to Jackson. I'm talking to Jackson this afternoon at 3 p.m. So before we catch up with RDB, so 3 p.m. Queensland time. I'll talk to him about it because he's the guy who's built the widget that pulls the data off Fair Work. So I'm going to have to ask him what is the solution. I see your point. I see your point. But then the question I raise is, if you are quoting, so for example, right? You highlighted it. For example, you pick your hourly pay rate, right? And then you have the overtime Monday to Friday, first 2 hours, or it may not be that. It might be overtime Saturday before 12 noon. How do you differentiate which wording you want in your quote? How do you differentiate them?
Well, I noticed when I actually, in the next page where you actually have got where we map the rates to our pay elements, those wordings disappear and just my pay elements show up. So that you don't even get that. You don't get all this. You just get, if I change, say, the first 6 to just 2, well, like overtime 1.5 for 3 of them and casual hourly rate for 1 and public holiday for another or something, that's what shows up in the quote. These ones don't show up on the quote. Once you map it, the quote gets our pay elements. Yeah,
that's right.
And it'll look a bit weird if you had 3 of each, of the same thing, just doubled up.
I get it. Yeah. Okay. Let me talk to Jackson about it, and I'll explain the problem. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
This here, this is good. So if they wanted to change the rate, change that to 30, it will populate all the way down. The thing is, we can't, you must have a calculator in the background to work out what that rate is based off the base rate, correct? Is there any way, and this is from an audit point of view, so when the auditors come back and say, how did you get to that rate, regardless of it's in the pay guide, right? What's the calculation? Is that able to be displayed? Like if I change that to 30 now, it'll go push it all the way down to do that, to actually say this is 1.25 or this is 2.25 or something like that. What the actual Integra thing is. Because we've got to have, and just let me say, this is just an issue. Now this might be, I wanted here, this is your multiplier, right? If I go to 2, right, it's actually multiplying that rate. See where it is? I can't go back now. If I do 2, it multiplies that current rate that's sitting in the overtime rate figure. It's not looking at 2 times the base rate.
That's right. Yep.
So it should go back to the base rate to do your multiply, especially in the certified agreement. I'll go 2.25, but it won't be 2.25 of the already calculated rate.
Yep.
So the thing, and I'll press enter, I can't go back now, right? And the hardest thing is, when I'm actually in a quote, so say that, and I go into these guys, if I had chosen model award, which let me go back and change something, that screen's gone, and I can't get it back, correct? Our quotes calculator screen. Okay, so I've gone into award. Right, so now if I get here, if I had changed something in that to sort of say $70, I don't know how that got there. I can't actually even open that one back up to see what the formula was, like if it was a multiplier. So if I'm revising a quote, how do I know what they did in the first place? And also, for an auditor, I can't even show them, bring up a preview that quote and actually show them that calculator disappeared.
Yeah.
And if somebody rejected your quote and said, no, go back and knock it down, I can go in and manually edit these guys here, but that's, yeah, like I can't edit from that main screen where you probably should do.
Yeah, okay, yep. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so that was just, and I'm just thinking ahead now, like revising, doing everything, doing audit control, and you just think, yo, I can't go back. and it was the biggest thing for us. So I keep even having to archive. And also when I go to archive, I actually have to turn it into a quote to archive. So that I know I had an email from Phil at one stage a few weeks back saying that there should probably be an archive button from the calculation screen that people, if you make a mistake, you can just archive it at that point rather than it gets sent to Cam and that to do it.
Yep.
But definitely that multiplier thing and that whole page, like Luke was really happy with, and he said, it's going to be a big learning curve for our guys because like they really don't know the back end of anything adds up. But we have to try to make it as simple because they could really fuck it up badly, I think, if we just leave them open to what it is. But it's really what's going to show, because if I map this right now, so like if I go to this overtime Monday, and change the pay code, you can imagine doing this, changing these pay codes for every level. And that's why when I thought, can I talk to the developer, because they did what we said, we need to map it, but I would either map it in the back end or map it a little bit earlier so you don't have to do it on every job level because it's just like a nightmare. And they would spend all day. So if I did that now, if I just came with a night shift.
Okay. Yep, okay. All right, I understand what you're saying. I'll have a talk to Jackson about it and I'll share the video with him before I catch up with him. Is that all that you've got at this point?
This is just something that, you know how that bloody building and construction one that we've been saying, that site allowance is still incorporated in the certified agreement?
Yes.
Right? Luke tells me today that he's having a meeting with Tom on Tuesday that he thinks that we might actually leave it in now so that because he thinks that we should be paying it under the certified agreement. So I just want you to hold on that one because I said, lucky. I said, it's been a problem for the last couple of months because the certified agreement we were told had to go against the exclusive, even though the modern award has to have the site allowance. But now he's thinking about across the board making a rule that the site allowance has to be included, which means what you've got is perfect.
Oh, well,
so, but he's got to wait till Tom gets back, I think on Tuesday or something.
Okay. All right, just kill the recording if you've finished.
Can you just tell me, Luke wants to know, see we've got job name, position name.
Yep.
Are they just for us if we change the terminology there to internal line, external line, or if we want to call them something else, will that affect any of your other customers seeing it in the rate mapper?
No.
So I can come up with the
rates. Yeah, the rates mapper is yours. No other client is using the rates mapper. And
I said I'd check with you, so I can just come up with a different one.
No, because of the complexity that you've got, if we are ever going to build another rates mapper, it'll be a different rates mapper anyway.
Yeah. So
most people are using the in the settings. You've got the award multiplier in the settings, and it's by percentage or by 20 cents or like a dollar figure or a cents figure. Most agents adopt that. They don't have this. Right. Anyway, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just kill them.
But yeah, I'll just let you know about these names. We can put that. We don't need this. Is this here for any reason? What would you use it for? Number of jobs quoted for? What does that mean?
Because if you push it, if you populate it, and in the integration in RDB, if you quote for 10 people and the quote comes back approved, the intention was that it would then create 10 orders in RDB linked to that quote.
Oh, okay. So we probably wouldn't be using it like that.
Yeah. That particular field is right across the whole of RateScale.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just ignoring it anyway at the moment.
It's hard.
See when I do a quote, when I actually preview this quote, so it comes up with that level 1, but because that's your naming convention over there on that thing, it doesn't come up with the word modern award, and then it comes up with a different C level. I just couldn't get the comparative up there. I didn't know where it was doing that at all. But the actual, just a sec, the actual award rules that are coming over are good because I need them for the interpretation, so that's all good. There was going to be, I think we put it on that September request to add a couple of more blank ones if we had some more rules that were not in any of those categories.
Right.
Just some blank ones.
Yeah.
And just a question, save templates and manage templates. Can I restrict people if I want to? Because I don't want every man his dog having the ability to just keep on adding templates into a big pool.
I believe that we can restrict that.
Yeah.
But again, I'd have to ask Phil, but I believe that we can restrict it.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I just want managers to do it, because otherwise every man his dog's going to save it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the next evolution of that is profiles, and I'll talk to you about that. Whereby you can set up profiles for particular different skill levels within the business. So anyway, yeah. Okay. What else?
No, that's about it. Everything's there. It's just probably not in the right space, or just the filters that need to do it quicker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. That's all right.
If you can talk to Phil or whoever about if I wanted to get all the award pay elements, and I'd probably need the pay rate. Like I'd probably just look at that one screen. So if I wanted to hard code, like permanently map a pay element to each one of those, so that in the background it comes up like that, can you just discuss that with him rather than the consultant having to do it on the fly?
Yeah. Okay.
Because that way I'd feel better that it just drops down all their workload.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No worries.
Okay.
No worries. Can you kill the recording and send the recording to me, please?
Will do. Okay.
Can I speak to you about another matter once you turn the recording on?
Oh yeah. Hang on. Let me do this first. I remember how to do it.
Just on the console, on the bottom right of the console.
Is that right?
No.
Never done it before.
Just down the bottom of the console.
Yeah.
This session's being
on the go-to meeting?
Yeah. Just click that. Yeah, just click that down the bottom here where it says this session is being recorded. Just click that red button.
under that. Hang on. Doesn't seem to like